Hey everybody, welcome. I want to talk about lessons that we can learn from every successful business that exists. And there are four primary lessons that apply, I think, specifically to traders, and here they are. Number one, every successful business runs on a system. And what I mean by that is there isn't some kind of arbitrary method for deciding what's going to happen next. There is a programmed, specific process for getting stuff done. There's an assembly line, there's a food production line in every successful business, or in every trading related business that is successful, there's a system. There's a process for doing things, there's a process for arriving at decisions that is not capricious, not arbitrary, doesn't change all the time. In other words, if you put X into the system, you get Y. There's a process for taking an input and coming out with decisions, and it's consistent. Every successful business is going to have that every single time. Number two, every successful business is going to learn from mistakes. Without any exceptions, every successful business isn't going to make mistake avoidance a priority, but in fact is going to make it a priority to dive into the pain caused by a mistake and into the lessons that come from making mistakes. Now, traders can absolutely learn from this. This is directly applicable to us as traders because most traders will avoid mistakes, will avoid looking at the problems, the stuff they did wrong every single time. And that is absolutely, this is going to crush traders. This is going to absolutely destroy traders. The fact that there's mistake avoidance, or most traders are trading for ego, or want to show the best trades, or don't want to admit that they don't know how to do something, or want to jump in before they're ready. Most traders don't want to learn from their mistakes. They don't even want to talk about their mistakes, and in many cases don't want to even admit that they make mistakes. But in fact, learning from mistakes and doing something about it and keeping a log or a journal, not about every trade, I hate trade journals, but a mistake journal, lessons from those mistakes will lead most traders to make decisions that influence the system, such as lowering trade size, decreasing trade frequency. These kinds of decisions only come from traders who have learned from their mistakes. Number three, every massively successful business that can operate at scale or increase its revenues and thus increase its profits at the same time doesn't have a key employee. Now, this is just like super important for us as traders because most of us as traders run our little trading business and it is us specific. It is dependent entirely upon us. And this is incredibly important to remember that that's going to be damaging in the long run. I know this doesn't even sound like it should be true, and I know, and that's like, but most traders fail. So just give me a second here to explain what I mean. Most traders are running their trading business without learning from mistakes. So there's no institutionalized or written memory of the mistakes and the decisions that should be made to avoid those mistakes in the future. And there's no system. People say they have a system, but they don't really have a system. Most people don't really have a system. Most people say they have trading rules, but those trading rules, they either throw them out the door or there's no consequence for breaking those trading rules and whatever else, and there's no system. And without a system and without any institutionalized learning from mistakes, you are the most important element of your trading system. Without you, the whole thing falls apart. And whether by computer or with the ability of somebody else to help you implement your trading system, your trading really isn't a business that can survive any longer than you can. And maybe you don't want that. Maybe that's not important to you, but it's important to me. Every successful business avoids having some kind of key employee without which the entire business would fail. That's important, and that's why I run most of my stuff automatically with a robot. Last of all, every successful business has a rainy day fund. Every single successful business will put money away and put money off to the side and will spend less than they bring in and they will save some percentage of their revenues all the time. When I ran my first business in 1999 to 2001, my first business failed, but we did produce a lot of revenue. And my business partner had a long-standing history of setting aside, no matter what, setting aside 10% of all revenues all the time, every single month. They all went in, it went into savings every single month. 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. And this was incredibly important because when times were tough, that rainy day fund existed. And still to this day, when I run my business, my education business, I set aside money so that I can run the business for a year or more, even if the business didn't bring in any revenue at all. I could pay the employees, I could do payroll, we could pivot, we could change what we're doing, we could release new products or whatever else we needed to with that rainy day fund. I originally got this idea from Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, or my friend got it from Bill Gates. It doesn't really matter. Having a rainy day fund is really important. If you build into your system the necessity of having a rainy day fund, that applies to us as traders in the following way. A rainy day fund for a trader is a portion of the profits, 5%, 10%, set aside on a weekly or monthly basis that is used when times get tough. Let's say times get tough and your trading system runs into problems and has a string of losing trades and you're not making any money. You can depend on your rainy day fund and you don't have to change your system. Let's say your system breaks down and you have an open losing trade. You can take your rainy day fund and you can pay off that losing trade that's open, get back to square one, and get back to trading business as usual. I would love to hear from you in the comments of this video below if you're watching on YouTube. Love to hear from you. Hi, I'm Rob Booker. Love for you to subscribe to this channel by clicking the button somewhere on the edges or right here at the end of the video, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.